everyone. Nice to meet you all this evening. So let me give a brief introduction to our honorable guest, Mr. Lau first. Mr. Edward Lau has over 20 years of experience in business, including corporate management, investment banking, consulting service, and accounting. Currently, Mr. Lau is the Chief Financial Officer of New World Development Company Limited, leading various functions of the group, including finance, accounting, treasury, tax, M&A, and investor relationships. Before joining New World Development, Mr. Lau was also the CFO of a Chinese property developer with a focus on Greater Bay Area development. He was in various senior positions in equity capital markets and global credit trading with global investment banks prior to his CFO career. Moreover, Mr. Lau was awarded the best CFO in the survey of all Asia executive team leaders for over 3 years. He has very rich experience in innovative sustainable financing. In 2021, New World Development was the first real estate developer to issue a US dollar sustainability-linked bonds in the global level. Recently, New World Development became the first corporate in the world to issue a US dollar-denominated social and green jewel tranche offering in the public bond markets. Mr. Lau has also served the public in various capital capacities, including as a member of inaugural advisory committee of the Accounting and Financial Reporting Council, Greater Bay Area Working Group of Mainland Opportunity Committee of Financial Services Development Council, Finance Committee of Scout Association of Hong Kong, HI Regional Scout Foundation Fund, Finance and Strategy Committee of Hong Kong Football Association. Mr. Lau received his Bachelor of Business Administration in Finance with distinctions and Master in Accounting with distinction as well from the Royal School of Business at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor in 2001 and 2002 respectively. He is also a U.S. Certified Public Accountant certificate holder. So a very impressive profile. So today, with very honorably, we have Mr. Lau to share some of his insight on this property and fintech. Welcome, Mr. Lau.
Thank you, Alice, for the introductions, and thank you, everyone, both in the classrooms and those online, for your time and interest in listening to our sharings. Before I start, right next to me is Mr. Paul Sin, is our head of technology and transformation for the Duo Group. One of the reasons I invite him to be a co-speaker is because what I talk about will be more applications. This is for finance. But the real technology group is Mr. Sin. So I talk about how PropTech can transform our business on a commercial way, and I'll pass it to Paul to talk about our technology strategies and how PropTech or FinTech can develop in the future. Why don't we, go into the case study that I want to share with you on how a typical PropTech can help in the company. Yeah, we can go with this. So I think online can see this version, right? They don't want to look at my close-up for too long. Just bear with us a second. All right, here we go, the sharing. Excellent. It's an okay study. Actually, technology has advanced a lot since 2 years ago, but it's one of a classic example how we can break Hong Kong records in selling properties in 2021. Well, you may know about, we have a big project called the Black Farm in Dai Wai, Shanti. It's and that time is during COVID. It's a big statement for every developer. While people's scale of COVID, everyone wants to stay at home. How can you sell properties? It's a big ticket items. purchaser want to get a feel, take a look on the sales suite, want to talk to our salesperson to make an informed decision on one of the biggest decisions in their life, right? So at that time, we have a pretty massive project, more than 3,000 units. If you use a traditional way, it can't be sold. It can't be sold on an oversubscribed basis. And what we have achieved is actually on the other round. We put the Hong Kong records. We can go to this page. You will see we put the record. So let's get the facts. We have put into 3 phases. We've sold more than 37 billion Hong Kong dollars, more than 30,000 subscriptions at every launch, because we separate into different subcategories. And for example, P-Farm 1, once we launched, we already break Hong Kong record since 1997. And then P-Farm 2, Phase 2, Phase 3. At Phase 3, actually, we achieved 80 times oversubscribed. At one particular unit list, we call Dadang. And the Phase 3, more than 380 units we sold in the same day, 95%. Again, during COVID. When we achieve that, is definitely the simple answer technologies. We really change the people life and how we do things. On page, next page, you will see, I can configure it even better. On the left side is traditional process. Probably a lot of you have experience. It is a purchasing of units. You need to go to a bank, get your deposit, get your check, get your cash order. You need to show your ID. You need to find an agent. You need to fill in the form. And as I said, because of 3,000 units, we divide it into different sub-launch. For example, every time we launch 200 to 300 units. So people, if they fail to get allocation in the first launch, they need to participate in the second one, and they need to do the whole thing again, get a check, get the paperwork. But we solve this problem by using online registration platform, which purchaser can easily do it on mobile. This is the first ever in Hong Kong. So what they do is on the left side, you see they fill in the info. Instead of using a traditional check, they can use credit card. And we only hold the limit instead of really transact it. Because one problem statement of selling units in Hong Kong is once it's oversubscription, you need to refund the check back to the purchaser. A lot of manpower, a lot of time consuming, tedious process. So we just hold a limit. If they fail to win the lottery, we basically release the credit with their back, which is very convenient. And the banks love it because there's more transactions, right? Credit card. And then when they really get allocated, then they'll receive a confirmation email. So everything is documented, very efficient. So there are 4 benefits, right? Basically, first, no face-to-face contact, solve the COVID problem. Second thing, ESG is always our top priority for New World. Environmental friendly, right? Save a lot of trees, a lot of papers. Security. In the past, there are always some, misplacement of check, some errors on documents. Right now, it's very secured. Just hold the credit limit. And manpower at the end. It saves a lot of cost of different parties, no matter for purchaser on the time, even from our developer side. It's not the end of the journey of PropTech. Buying property is just the first part of the journey. The important part is also give them the after sales experience, because when it's become more convenient, then those user or purchaser will believe in the system and participate in the next product or services. And you will, on top of just selling house, we have different things, as you know. We have malls, we have office, we have hotels, we have Hong Kong exhibition center. So a lot of, we call B2C interface. We have 17 BUs. So you can get the user to have a good experience in buying properties. They will be our VLP going forward for the rest of our 16 other B2C business. So we developed the property purchase 2.0. One-stop after sales service using blockchain technologies. So how does it work? Is basically we line up all the cross-sector platform from both buyers, developer like seller and buyers, the banks who provide a mortgage, solicitors who handle the documents, and property management company. You need to first do the handover, and going forward, need to collect the management fee, deal with the units problem, etc. So here's the typical process chain for buying a property, and we already simplified already. So the blue one is all the critical path. The red ones are those we call the pain points. After we solve the pain points, it's always the biggest problem statement, right? So we use technology to enable a lot of simplified process, so that no more pain points, make it a very comfortable experience. Here you will see we have a different milestone preliminary agreement. We sign and then we pay the deposit, sign the formal, apply mortgages with the banks, settle the money, and then hand over with property management. So through this platform, we provide all the answer and the data for them. For example, first is transactions. Once they purchase, how the transaction goes, when is the important key milestones, as we highlight in red before. Mortgage application is always a headache. The purchaser want to check which one is the best offer from different banks, right? We can help them to do it online instead of wasting their booking time to line up during office hour, and then hand over with our property management. So for transaction status, once you bought the units, we will show, okay, you have signed the preliminary agreement. The next step, when you need to pay this deposits, who are the lawyers, what is the legal cost, the days of transactions, so no more confusion that, oh, I forgot that I need to pay the second deposit because there's a reminder for the purchaser. And then the amounts that they need to pay so that they can get their money in advance. And once they do the procedural things like pay the deposit, we look in the banks, which is part of our ecosystem, right? Because the partners want to do more business as well. So we line up all the banks using the blockchain technology so they can compare the offers. They can get several applications at the same time, because in the past, they need to fill in the form at each bank and share the keys or the documents every time to different banks, right? But using blockchain technology, basically with a high level of security, they can just have an electronic copy and then share by the banks. And they can check the application status as well, 24 hours, instead of need to do it at the branch. So again, this highlights the 5 strengths. First, make it efficient, a lot of cooperation across sectors, lowers the banks, very convenient, 24 hours, 7 days a week, anytime, anywhere you can do it at different stage. Using blockchain, high security, very efficient, paperless, again, ESG as a priority, and a lot of cost savings and time. And lastly, I think the most important is COVID-19. Given everyone has changed their living habits, the purchasing pattern as well. So it's important to use tech on a very smart way to fit into the rapidly changing environment. So a quick summary, but you see, instead of having COVID difficult to sell the units, we break the Hong Kong record ever in the past 100 years. Just because of using technology. And this is one simple example. We have a lot to share in different perspectives. But I think the key takeaway is first, always understand the client, identify the problems, the pain points, use technology in a simple way, make it very user-friendly. And then once you solve the pain points, people will love it, and then you can break the records. Because historically or traditionally, it's not the way that have used technology to do advancement. So again, as a CFO of the group, I'm very happy that we have a lot of resources spent in technology transformation. So hopefully, when students or graduates from CTU can exchange more ideas, do more innovations. We have a lot of hackathons or incubators under the plan of Louver. A lot of your CTU students and graduates have participated. So please join us more, share your ideas, and look forward to work with you more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lau. So is there any question from the audience? If not, I'm actually having a question. So I think what you just shared is very innovative and very creative, as how newer development has always trying to sell their value, right? Artistic, creative, and create a social value. I have a question. So recently, ChatGPT has been popular discussed, right? And a lot of people were asking if ChatGPT has been applied in every sector of the industry, there'll be a lot of manpower has been saved. However, a lot of people is gonna be losing job. What is your insight? What is your perspective toward this argument?
I think my father also told me the same thing, because I was scared that by using ChatGPT, how my sons or my daughter can survive after 20, 30 years, how they lost a job, even my job already. But my father told me in the past, there's no computer. They use facts, it's already innovations to dedicate a job. Because when technology advancement, you can use it very carefully or very carefully. Basically, you can help to improve the efficiency, help to bridge the distance and bridge some of the pain points. At the end, I think human intelligence is very important. Personal touch relationship is very important. I think as long as we can make sure that the more repetitive or more tedious process can be taken up by ChatGPT or some future technologies and use it wisely. And then ultimately, human can focus on something more, even more value added, or more strategic, or more like personal touch. And then we can, have a better world. But one of the reasons why I bring Paul is a very good question, actually. People keep asking. As a new way to use ChatGPT. So given that background, maybe I was, if you don't mind, maybe introduce Paul a bit, and then I can pass Paul to answer this question and then also talk about his presentation.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So very luckily, we also have another speaker today. So Dr. Paul Sin, he is now leading the group technology function of New World Development, a conglomerate covering property, retail, healthcare, infrastructure, etc., with over 25 years of IT management and consulting experience. Prior to this role, Paul also established the FinTech consulting practice and Asia Pacific Blockchain Lab in Deloitte. Dr. Sin had also incubated and served as CEO and executive director of a FinTech startup before, as well as led the IT functions of different multinational financial institutions. So welcome, Dr. Sin.
Thank you. Good evening. So every time whenever host on my, I feel that I'm in an AGM with a lot of shareholders. So today, very happy to be here and supplement what Evan has just shared with you, because Evan has done a great job in introducing our technology. What I'm going to share is basically how we decide what kind of innovation we should put in our group. So like Evan introduced the blockchain platform that we sell property. Just now there's a question on ChatGPT. Again, there's a filter in our organization on which kind of technology are we going to invest. Even when Evan said he put a lot of resources in technology, we still need to prioritize. Okay, so today I'm going to share like what is value-driven innovation or value-driven prop tech. Okay, so maybe let's quickly start with these 3 circles. In New World Technology Organization, we first focus on the strategy, and our strategy is based on our CEO's creating share value model, I would say. So share value is a term from Michael Porter and his colleagues. What we try to do is to create economic value both for the organization as well as for the society. So when we do something, we are not only focusing on the bottom line. Even the CFO will agree. We are also trying to create some positive impact for the society. Therefore, when we do innovation, we need to make sure this is not just for the bottom line. This is also trying to add value to our community, sort of. The second thing is scalability. When we do an innovation, if this is a point solution, if this is something that we just do it for PR or it's a proof of concept just to get attention or exposure, it's not worth investing. So, and this is, I think, very close to what Edward is governing us to make sure when we invest, this is going to be scalable across our ecosystem. New World has a huge ecosystem. We have property development, we have healthcare, we have education, we have infrastructure, everything you name it. So if the technology cannot be applied across all these business units, it is not worth investing. I'm going to give you some example. Then, journey of imagination is our obsession with customer experience. We need to make sure that this is something user-friendly. And Edward introduced a public sales platform, which is very user-friendly for the home buyers. So we do a lot of prototyping. I'm going to share another example, how prototyping improve our offering. Last but not least, we are very focused on the data that we harness from our infrastructure. There are a lot of customer data, supplier data, property data, ESG analytics. Those data are something we are also trying to create value out of. Okay, without further ado, let's share the value of our one of the share value we are pursuing, which is ESG. ESG in New World has been a very concrete initiative with a lot of science-based targets. And we created Sustainability Vision 2030 with 4 pillars. The first is green. So the first 50 under green is reducing carbon emission by 50%. Second one is reducing the power intensity, the electricity consumption by 50%. And 25 is water. So we reduce water wastage, and then we also reduce 15% of the landfill waste. So these are the target we try to meet under the so-called SV 2030. The second is wellness. We are going to improve the wellness of our tenants, our employee, people who are having day-to-day interaction with our group. And the target is 20 million. That means we are going to improve the wellness of 20 million people that are working in our ecosystem or being served by our ecosystem. Caring, we are going to touch 300, I suddenly increased the target. 300 million lives, quality of lives. Okay, so you're probably aware that we resumed the cross-harbor swimming. What do you call that? The cross-harbor race. Race, yes, the cross-harbor race, and that is one of the caring program that we are trying to roll out to the society. In order to do all these things, you can see that the target are staggering large, right? So if you have such a high target with so many people you are going to impact, you need a scalable, smart way to do that. And that's the innovation focus, okay? So let's go to the specific examples. On wellness, one of the major lives that we're trying to improve, or the wellness of the lives that we try to improve, is our worker, the construction site worker, right? And there are a lot of danger in the construction site. So in the past, we have all these helmet and all that. Nowadays, we install IoT on our helmet in order to make sure that they are, first of all, they don't walk into some dangerous zone. And also, you probably are not aware. First of all, a lot of you students or undergraduate or new graduates, joining construction industry is a super high paid career. Do you know? If you go to construction site, even without a bachelor or master degree, you can easily earn like maybe 50 or 70,000 a month. Okay, a month. However, the working condition is super poor. So that's the money is to compensate your hardship. So imagine you are building the next floor on the building, okay? There's no air condition, there's no electricity. So it will be the sun right at you, and it will be around 43 to 45 degrees Celsius on the rooftop. So you are doing that. You're working, laboring on a rooftop with under 43 degrees Celsius. A lot of people will suddenly like have heat stroke, and then they may fall down from like 44. So we have all these helmets to monitor the well-being of our workers and make sure that those accidents will not happen. And this is one of the ways we use technology to help achieve one of our value, which is ESG. Okay. And so that is value driven. We are focusing on the value. Second, this is a scalability example. So on the left-hand side, you see that it is a traditional way of saving energy from air conditioning. A lot of building has this thermostat or IoT, Internet of Things, installed in every room, checking the temperature. And if the temperature is like too low, then you will stop the aircon. Okay, so what happens is the aircon keeps switching on and off, and it actually wastes much more energy than you just keep it on. Okay, so from that, the IoT itself is expensive. Not that the cost is expensive. Maintaining the IoT is expensive. You have IoT installed in every room. That means from time to time, there will be IoT breaking down, right? So you need to send property management staff going all around the building to replace all this IoT and labor is most expensive. So if you use this kind of technology, it is not scalable. So if we do not use this for energy saving, we use the right-hand side, which is an engine installed directly into the central air conditioning. And then every tenant using different rooms can use a mobile app to remote control the central air condition. We call it chiller, okay? So this is a more scalable way because no matter how many rooms you have in the building, there's only one central chiller. So you just control that chiller. In the past, the reason we do not do that is you need a engineer from the property management who is very expensive, go to the chiller to adjust it. So usually they do not do that, or they do that very slowly, or they charge you 3,000 per trip to the central aircon. So now with all this technology, you can do it in a much cheaper way. At the same time, you achieve the sustainability target. At the same time, you do not waste a lot of money in property management. So this is when we evaluate different technology, both of these technology can save energy, but the right-hand side is much more scalable, okay? Smart caring is another very interesting story, which I'm going to share, but you need to promise me that you do not share that back to my boss, okay? So last year, February, it was the 5th peak of COVID. And there was a news on the left, a lot of elderly patients going to the hospital, and the hospital is so full that they have to queue up outside the hospital. And it was February; it was very cold, so those people are suffering outside. We heard that there are 400 people queuing up outside the hospital. So what our boss agent did was he summoned all the outdoor heater in our group, from hotel or from different property management, and then they ship those heater over. And then he called me immediately saying that this cannot be done like continuously, right? Sustainability has to be sustainable. So what he says, why don't we just summon all the resources owned by all the different corporates in Hong Kong, and then we can match them with all the NGOs who need resources, okay? Which is a great idea. But he said you have only 2 weeks to develop this. So, which is very typical Adrian, okay? So he gave us 2 weeks to create an app which can match the corporate resources with the NGOs. And we understand why is the urgency, because COVID is like every wave is like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. If you take 3 months to develop this, it will be too late, right? So we developed an app, and mind you, to put an app in Google Play or in App Store, Apple App Store, at least take 4 days to review the app. So 2 weeks minus 4 days, you have like maybe 10 days to develop this. So our programmer actually work days and nights, and even they suspect they got COVID, they did not test. Because they are afraid that they need to go home and then they cannot continue the work. So anyway, so we finally pulled that off with 3 days delay, because this is not just app development. We need to line up our partners to work on this. The resources we have, but then we need people to do the logistics. So we work with Move to make sure they will ship our heater, our mask, our the rapid test, and all that kind of stuff to different NGO, right? We also need someone to QA the resources. If I'm shipping all this like blood measure meter and all that kind of stuff, you need to make sure they are up to the standard, right? Our AT has to be up to the standard. So we work with Yanjai Hospital to make sure they will do the QA, the inventory, etc. So We end up working with we line up 70 NGO with the hospital, with the Lala Move, and then with and develop the app and all that. And what happened is within a week, my boss called and complained because, which is like very common, okay? So because a lot of his friends do not have all these RAT masks and all this heater. All they have is money. So they need a way to quickly donate money instead of like telling you how many test kit I can ship over. So we need to immediately at a button, which is the right bottom corner, donate cash. What agent told me over the weekend is I need to enable people to donate cash within 5 seconds. If they cannot do that, you fail the whole mission, okay? So we immediately add this donate cash, okay? We are not a bank, right? We have no payment gateway in our ecosystem. So we are a lot of things we need to work on, like lining up bank partner, even though everyone has a lot of bank friends. Still, we need to do all this integration testing, and all that kind of stuff. So this is prototyping. We are listening to the voice of customer, quickly modify our offering, make sure the customer experience is up to the standard, all that kind of stuff. So this is one of the key DNA in innovation, because you will never get it right at the first time. It's always something you need to improve until it can be adopted by the market. Even the property sales blockchain platform ever introduced. So a lot of modification. That's why we have version 2, right? And we are still modifying. We are now moving that to cloud. We are going to integrate with insurance. So a lot of things are happening because it is a never-ending process. We are not creating a product, launch, and then we go away. We have to keep evolving. Okay. So this is prototyping. This is another interesting example. There's an animation, but this is PDF, so unfortunately, you probably recognize this robot in K11 Museum. If you have never been to K11, then you should go. The left-hand side is the original Rise robot from Rise Robotics. Okay, Rise Robotics is a company we invested in. The reason why this robot is called Rice Robotic, RICE, is because it was initially designed to deliver food. Okay, so it's a waiter, and it ships coffee, rice, lunchbox, that kind of stuff to different offices. But it's COVID, so no one ordered this, and no restaurant is opening. So when we find that the situation changed, we quickly, Adrian has a vision to add the 2 years, 2 years for the robot. Again, he gave the company 7 days to manufacture these robots with years that will spray antiseptics around the shopping mall. So that's why you see all these Rise Robotics robots walking around, running around and spraying. And we organize a robot dance event in Museum, and that actually attract a lot of people. So when that happened, it was at the time when we find a COVID case in Museum. No one dared to come to Museum. But because of this robot and the dance and all that, people come back to our shopping mall, and then they come to see the dance, and also they find they are very safe because they are surrounded by all this smoke. So they feel very safe, and the footfall pick up again. So this COVID seems like a crisis, but with all these innovative ideas, leveraging the innovation we have already invested in, it becomes an opportunity. We recover quickly after that COVID case. So that is opportunity in disguise. Okay, so to save some time for a question, let me quickly cover the last part. One of the core competence of New World is our huge ecosystem. All the companies that you see, you don't have to take picture because any report ever produced got this ecosystem picture. Yeah, you can't take that picture. So the ecosystem has touched on different stage of everyone's life, from education all the way to like getting a job, getting married, getting a property and all that. So and this ecosystem, because It is very customer centric. So we also are very focused on creating a single view of customer for all the business units. So everyone will, if you are VIP in K11, you should be VIP in our fourth academy. You should be VIP in our school. You should be VIP in our retail shop, etc. So this is another thing that we are very focused on. Data is our true asset. Apart from all the cash he got, okay. So, let me tell you some of the barrier in adoption. On the left-hand side, you see a hand dryer, right? So hand dryer is not a very new innovation, but I want to share that when you install this kind of dryer in toilets, you're expecting that you can reduce the number of janitors, right? So less people, less property management people to clean the toilet. It ends up getting more property management people because when you install this, you will stop supplying tissue paper or dry paper, right? And when you stop the paper, what people would do is they do not walk over to the dryer. They just turn around and go into the toilet and pull the toilet paper out and dry their hand. And when they do that, they do not do it very neatly. So the whole floor is tissue toilet paper. And then some of the people really go to the hand dryer but then their hands are dripping. So the whole floor is wet. And then we have to send people more frequently to clean up the toilet. So when you look at this simple hand dryer, you think this is a technology that will reduce paper use, right? And that ends up using more paper, creating more cost. So it's a good innovation. It's not the fault of the dryer. It's where you install the dryer. Do you see that nowadays the dryer is below the mirror in front of you? So you do not walk around. And you used to pull tissue from there. So when you stretch your hand there, the dryer dry your hand, right? That will help you reduce all the issue that we have. So in the past, when this dryer is there, it causes actually more issue. Left bottom is what people now call metaverse, right? But this is just a virtual reality. Okay? so the VR is allowing people to see our shopping mall instead of flying over physically and rent our space, right? So and it was created during the COVID period when people cannot travel. It doesn't work because most of the brands that we work with are premium brands, and they would not rent a space, a shopping mall space without physically coming here, standing there, looking at all the people flow and all that. Some of the brands send their CFO over to our shopping mall. So it is impossible to understand the way Google and then look at the VR and then make a decision to rent our shop. This is not feasible. In the middle is virtual concierge. Just now, a friend here asked about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not a new thing. We have chatbot for a long time. Okay, natural language processing, NLP, AI that has been existing for a long time. IBM Watson has been winning quiz for a long time. Okay, the reason why we use it before, but we do not use it nowadays is when you come to K11 Museum, we expect you to be a high net worth customer. And you do not send a chatbot to a high net worth customer and tell them where is the Chanel, okay? And then you ask him to follow your app's navigation. That's not a very warm welcome of the customer. So a lot of times the human touch is still important, and not that the AI cannot answer a question. No, it can always answer a question. It's just that it lacks the human touch that we really offer at a premium price. The right-hand side is real metaverse, okay? Again, why we don't invest in metaverse? Why don't we build a K11 metaverse in Sandbox, which Adrian also owns a piece of land, right? Why we didn't do that? First of all, I do not eliminate the chance that Adrian suddenly wants to do that, okay? It's just that this is not our core business. Our core business is draw people to our shopping mall. It's not to draw people out of our shopping mall, right? what we do is online to offline. So creating a holistic, self-sufficient experience in metaverse is against our strategy, right? As I just said in the beginning, strategy, design, and the ecosystem, right? You need to make sure that these all take before we invest in the technology. This is not something aligned with our strategy. So this is how we do innovation, okay? Last but not least, the consideration, which is barriers. Okay, so first of all, ESG is not as simple as reducing electricity or carbon or waste, right? There are a lot of regulations. You need to do the right thing to hit the checklist, right? Like construction, you have CIC who defines standard. To do green financing, you have all this Hong Kong MA and all the people setting all this stuff, right? You need to make sure this will comply. Tax is also an issue, etc. Data privacy is a huge issue. We keep talking about data is our core asset, but a lot of our business is actually in China, in Greater Bay Area. So when you have all these, like now we open up the border, people are coming down from China to visit our shopping mall. Do you offer the same loyalty program to them? If you do that, you are shipping all this sensitive customer information cross border to Hong Kong, and you breach PIPL, and then fortunately, I'm not the data policy officer, so it will be our lawyer going to jail. So this is very important for the penalty. Exactly. And he is like the ED for like 500 companies, so he's going to jail also. So this is not what we want to see, right? Rising interest rate and all that kind of stuff will make us more focused on the scalability of our investment. We need to make sure that if we have 10 more shopping malls opening next year, we do not increase our cost 10 times. Everything has to be cloud native, has to be on cloud, has to be scalable. People just subscribe the solution and they can use it right away. So that is one of the principles. If someone tell me that you need to install another $1 million IoT in a shop, in a building before we can do ESG, we are going to ban this. So this is not that because it cannot save energy. It's just that it's not scalable. But not these boundaries. If I tell you that there is no boundary within our own group, I'm lying to you, right? Every organization will have all these boundaries. You need to sell, you need to convince different stakeholders, get all the budget owners to agree to invest, right? A lot of things that are shared will need to split the cost and investment, department organization. And nowadays, national is also a huge consideration. For example, you probably heard there is a solution called Salesforce.com. Salesforce is like the leading CRM package, but they are all on cloud. And they do not have data center in Greater China. The data center is in Singapore. So if you put everything on Salesforce, including the Chinese customers' information, a CRM system has to store customer information. so it will be a huge challenge to comply with data privacy and all that kind of stuff. So of course, there are a lot of work around in this. It's just that we need to pay a lot of attention in deploying such technology. So I guess in the view of time, we come to the end of the discussion. You have anything to something? Excellent.
Thank you, Dr. Sin, for the very inspiring and impressive speak. And we can see that newer development has always taken the pioneer role to do ESG, which is also one of the leading property company to promote TCFD, those reports. So before I raise up my question, is there any question from this room? Okay, I see 3 gentlemen raise their hand. Had about the one, yeah, please.
So thank you, Paul, for your presentation. So just now you mentioned data privacy. I think it's a very interesting topic to talk about because when we want to implement AI, the data is very important. So just echo what Iris has said, the ChatGPT. So imagine if your workers or office worker want to use ChatGPT, you have to send the data to some servers and then to get a response to you to generate some tests and then to help you do some tasks. So this when you have a worker like this, sometimes you do not want to disclose your company's privacy to some other company or your competitors. So so sometimes some companies may block the usage of AI. So this is one of the points that may hinder the deployment of AI in the workspace. So what is your standpoint? What is your company's standpoint on this? And then how do you find a balance between using AI to boost workers' productivity and privacy concern?
Sure. Usually I do not share this, but because Fonia is our friend, so we'll tell you the secret recipe. Okay, the recipe is twofold. One is you do not shield threats from that endpoint. So if you can shield, for example, I put in layman terms. Okay, you may think that you should install antivirus in every laptop and mobile phone, but that is costly. So it's like the IoT, it becomes non-scalable. If you install that at the firewall, and then you block everything, not block, you filter everything going in and out of your organization, that's much easier. And so this is the first principle. As much as we can, we move things to the boundary, the firewall, the gates, okay? The second is that you improve the granularity. You do not block all these tools. You scrutinize the contents that people send outside of the organization. So if I send an email to Gmail, it's okay because I cannot stop people sending email to Gmail. However, we'll check whether there's customer information, something that looks like ID, something that looks like a lot of financial figures. Those things will get on hold for review. Because if you have an email with all these content, we will stop this. But we do not block Gmail. So this is how we manage all this. The chatbot is the same.
I think S3 is also doing something similar. It's called HoneyNet, right? I think the government is using that technology relevant to cybersecurity perspective.
Yeah, because no one paid me for the advertising, so I try not to mention products. Except rice for water, which we have stick.
But I think it's a good analogy. As a layman term, right? Non-tech person, we will use Microsoft Outlook in our group.
Yes.
We will use Zoom, chat. So as long as you work with the technology provider to make sure it's a secure environment, because you need to have someone to provide the technology, but how to use it, how to safeguard it is most important.
It's a trade-off between customer user experience and the security.
So thank you for your question. Is there any more from this room? Maybe gentlemen in the corner.
Okay, so a big part of your business is shopping malls, and you mentioned ESG is one of the sort of main things you're trying to focus on. So the issue with that, though, I see is potentially that some of the responsibility is divvied up between you guys and with your tenants as well.
Some of the responsibility is divvied up between you guys and your tenants. How do you guys go about sort of ensuring that you guys are both meeting obligations or taking more of that sort of partnership role with your tenants and monitoring and validating and tracking all of these obligations, which can be pretty complicated?
Yeah, maybe I can take this one. First, ESG, as I said, is a high priority, right, in our group. And scope 3 emission actually is, as you said, not only from ourselves in terms of energy savings or carbon reductions, also for tenants or co-partners. So it has built in actually a lot of ESG index. So in order to make sure that we comply this, we use technology. As you recall, like 3 years ago, we have some old buildings, right? There's a budget asked me to apply for a big lump sum to install meters to capture just exactly what Paul showed on the left side, which is the old traditional way. I asked, why is there such a big amount? He said, look, because the old building doesn't have the meters, but we need to measure it. So how do we do it? And then we turn it into the technology way, right? So it helped to save costs, but at the same time, we monitor the energy savings on the tenant as well. And also we need to do initiatives to mobilize people to build a culture. So one thing we have done is we have done the first CSV list, the creating share value list with our tenant. What they do is first we work out a plan that how can they save the electricity, the energy. We have the technologies using the apps, etc. Make it very easy to use. We train those tenants, and afterwards we monitor that. Once they have energy saving, we'll reimburse them $K. Probably you guys have heard about $K, right? It's our internal code. I probably tough to say crypto, but actually it's like a cash dollar that you can earn and burn. Like $23, you can buy a coffee instead of a coupon. And we provide them incentive of K dollar, so then they can use it, they can donate, they can use it themselves. So we have developed this CSV list, apply majority of our tenant nowadays. So there's an initiative that you need to drive, and then we document this. Actually, it helps us to get into better rating in our ESG. So by this good positive cycle, we can have more initiative to measure the and help our partners to achieve the goal as well.
Can I have a follow-on question?
Yeah.
So that sounds good. Like it's a good plan. What potentially went well? What didn't go so well? What advice would you have for other people trying to do these plans? Like any challenges you still face?
Yeah, as Paul always said, there's always a lot of barriers. First, is it really a top priority for the staff? Probably not, because for them, office, if there's a sales, then focus on sales. If operation, they focus on operations, right? So it's really need to buy in their cultural ambassador within the tenant entity. They need to also have the buy-in to mobilize it. Is one of the KPI. And second thing is an incentive. It's a monitoring. It has to be very simplified. At the beginning, it's too complicated. Tenant, refuse to do it based on manpower. At the end, make it more simplified, easy to measure. Then also, what is the right reward? If you simply give them K dollar, probably they don't like it. But if you can help on donation or have some ESG goals, come up with something that even more ESG driven, then the tenant likes it. And once you build a habit, especially build a critical mass, they will see that, those MNC in our office have adopted this. I'm a local company. Shall I have also the ESG responsibilities? So they will influence each other. But it's a really long process. And also it's very interactive to understand the needs of the ESG goals and then customize the initiative for them. Maybe this gentleman. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. So you talked a lot about B2C and the customer journey. I'm actually quite curious about the commercial real estate aspect. So, with COVID, it made flexible working very apparent in Hong Kong, globally, actually. But now that people are slowly trickling back down to the office, the atmosphere has changed. So a lot of companies are adopting to a more flexible work kind of environment. What has New World done to accommodate the tenants that you have in your commercial properties to provide kind of like that incentive for people to come back in? How is your technology driving your kind of digital strategy?
Do you have examples?
So perhaps I try my best because that's not really my expertise. But if you look at our King's Road K11 Atelier office, which is a triple platinum office, one of the platinum certification they got is wellness. So we believe people can live a healthier life in our office rather than at home. And first of all, if you look at our office, we plant like green everywhere, even in the ceiling. The plants are upside down, and there's no water dripping. It takes 7 months to make sure they don't drip water, okay? And they don't die. So I'm sure you won't do this at home, right? So there are a lot of other stuff like there are water and
the recycling.
A lot of stuff.
Wind turbine. We have more than 70 ESG. They can have a running trail to do exercise themselves.
So there are a lot of design and also technology we build in the building to make sure that people actually feel well in our environment.
A follow-up question. What do you think is the most important for tenants from when they go into one of your buildings, when they want to sign up and get a floor or couple floors? What are the first few things that they are looking for before they sign the contract?
I think first have to be the basic, right? The real estate part, locations, the quality of your units, no matter it's concierge, reception, lobby, the retails, fit into the infrastructure, Wi-Fi, or everything, right? I think the real estate itself is very important, but we see a really increasing trend that a lot of companies really want to build the lease into one of their ESG goals. As I said, 2 years ago, a lot of MNC, like lots of time in our Chile office, they basically need to only set up office in those ESG buildings. And as Paul said, we have a triple pentagon, LEED goals, LEED plus, BEAM, etc. So by definition, they will screen out those without ESG. I think that's very important because it keeps the pressure for the developers to make sure that every buildings will be ESG compliant in order to competitive. We are one of the first developer to make sure that we will have at least a second tier ESG certification. If not platinum, has to be gold. So every building you look at, if you ask us, oh, is it ESG compliant? Everything. So once they get into the stage, I think every developer or office provider will make sure that they will fulfill the ESG. And then the second phase will be how robust is it? Is it just a simply green building? Probably not. As Paul said, we have also other matrix, like social governance, right? ESG. So I will skip the detail, but there's a lot of consideration that once you move forward, especially if they like the location and the units, then they will give you higher score and more preference to rent your place. And also go back to your original questions. Other than tenant, I think very important is employees. We are not only, of course, profit, especially for CFO, is super important. But at the same time, we need to care about the employees because they produce a product, they run the business, right? And also they're part of the society. So we have initiated something like 4.5 working days. I don't know where you heard. First ever Hong Kong company to really let the employees to take Friday afternoon off. And also out of that 4.5 days, 1 day they can work from home. It doesn't save my office space at the beginning, but at least they especially during COVID time, but the employees can feel more comfortable. First, they can take care of the kids, especially if the COVID situations. They can, so of course, it's a bigger burden for poor side, even to make sure the Wi-Fi works, the token works. You know, when people complain that 24 hours they can call Paul's, you know.
And the Zoom is smooth, very important.
Yeah, otherwise. So we also practice ourselves, and the employees love it. And I'm not kidding. After we implement this, we receive a lot of resumes from young graduates, not because of the half a day leave. It's where they know that, oh, actually we care about our people. So I think we will set as an example, and also the tenant we appreciate.
I want to supplement 2 points. One is that I heard recently that our competitor did a survey on the youngest, and we are the first choice of as an employer, just because all this innovation and ESG stuff that we pursue. The second is that the KFN is in Korea Bay, right? And around there are a lot of other office space, and we are actually more expensive than other people. And still, because of all this ESG requirement, compliance and all that, a lot of MNC actually ran our space just because of that. So it's actually ESG has its return when you do it properly.
Thank you for the brilliant sharing from Edward and Paul. There's 2 more questions, and let me raise up the question from the Zoom chatbot first. And yeah, so from Rex, he's asking, in terms of data collection of AI, what is your advice on keeping user data? And do you think that a policy of use and delete is a good way to reap the benefits while keeping customer privacy? So basically eKYC and compliance perspective.
Very complicated. Okay, so first of all, if you understand AI, it does not keep customer data. We have the data pass through our machine learning engine and extract the insight out of the big data, and then the granular data we throw away. So no worries if you walk around our shopping mall, even if we track that, we are not going to store that. We just need to know that people who come out of the toilet go straight to the bar. Okay, that's the insight we need.
We don't know that you shop at
exactly. Yeah. So this is how AI works, and also the beauty of AI. So in the past, if you use statistics or analytics, you have all this raw data. But nowadays, we don't even need to store those data. Otherwise, imagine how much data we need to store. That would be super expensive. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Another question coming from Carly. What are some of the key tech trends in retail malls that newer development foresee, especially from owner perspective or an operator's perspective?
Very high quality question.
What of technologies that we want to enable in our
Key tech trends.
a lot of secret weapons that we cannot discuss right now, but let's talk about few.
Yeah, I think you can look at that at three perspectives. So to run a successful shopping mall, first of all, is the customer experience. So anything that can enhance customer experience will be one of our key priority. So some of the tailored service, for example, if you drive your car to our car park, we recognize your car plate and then we know who you are. We have a concierge come to serve you. That kind of stuff is always important. Then the second is the cost, right? So property management is one of the major cost factor, and we are trying to automate a lot of these, especially combining them with ESG. You probably don't know that electricity bill is a major part of the property management cost. So if we can save energy, like 30% of that, that will contribute a lot to the margin of the shopping mall. So these kind of things also have a very high priority.
Thank you, Paul. So because of the time, we're already a little bit overrun. Is there any question? Probably the last one from this room. And I'm sorry, but I saw that he raised his hand earlier. So the gentleman in the back.
Okay, thank you. I want to ask, if the robot now in this moment the environment is changed, right? How do you will using the robot now, because it's the environment change and then the robot maybe the role is changed already, and then you will how to reuse, or you will not using the robot in this time, or because when this is happen, right? Like the mask now, no one want to using mask and buy the mask now, right? And then all is changed. How do you reusing the invest? You invest many resourcing for that, but now the environment is changed. How you facing this challenge?
Yep.
And another one, I think many guys is concerning the privacy problem, because you mean, oh, technology is really good, but you know, this is another balance is shape. You want to more flexible or more convenience, and then you need to pay your privacy, right? And then how you balancing for this? How you trying for this challenging in Hong Kong people is really concerning for this part, right? So how you make it challenge for that? And then you say, oh, no storing for this one, and then you may be outsourcing to another guys to take the risk, right? And then you how you concerning how do you mention the risk is taking for and the good guy to take the risk, right? How do you evaluate for that?
Sure.
Right. So I want to ask
So
about
in
like
view of time, let me try to answer in a very concise way. So first of all, robots is not. First of all, rice robotic was not designed for spraying antiseptic. So you probably go back to be a waiter. There are a lot of other robots we use. So we have robots that clean the window outside the building. We have robots that will patrol the shopping mall at night. Looks like a dog. And we have robots that erect the wall in the construction site without human intervention. So there are a lot of robots we use. We will continue to invest in that. That's definitely one of the interesting area. Second is about privacy. So to cut it short, there is a lot of way to provide tailored personalized service without exposing PII, sensitive personal identifying information. So and comply with all this PDPO, PIPO, and all that kind of regulation. I would recommend, especially if you are in academic, there is a paper published by World Economic Forum called Privacy Enhancing Technique. So that paper outlines 5 different techniques that will help us to protect privacy while providing tailored service. And 3 out of those 5 are native in blockchain. That's why we use blockchain a lot, especially when it's cross-border, because that will protect privacy while we can still operate. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. So because of the time, we might have to summarize and wrap up a bit of today's seminar. I guess so. Today we've talked a lot about art tech, AI tech, green tech, FinTech, right? They're all part of pop tech. And if I have to summarize today's meeting, as we have discuss a lot about AI and the opportunity and underlying risk, how to utilize AI and technology. I guess I can summarize with one very old traditional Chinese saying, 君子性非物也，善假於物也. We can't stop the trend, but we can use the trend. So at the end, because I'm invited by, and I'm also one of the members from HKDAS, let me use 2 minutes to introduce and promote our function. So we stand for, so HKDAS, we stand for Hong Kong Digital Asset Society. It is led by a volunteer group of members who cares about the future of financial technology in Hong Kong, Greater China, and Asia. We want to equip our young talents, which a lot of you guys invited today, presented here today, are also like one of them. So we want to provide you with resources to thrive to this innovative environment and to support local entrepreneurs to build up your portfolio and to encourage the startup projects. So today, we HKDAS together with City University, Astrid, is honored to be the co-host today to support the FinTech Olympiad 2023. We wish we can provide a chance for students to discover your talents and idea for FinTech. So welcome to join our competition and coming events. We'll have a lot of experts coming like Edward and Paul. We're very lucky and honored to have you guys here today, and also all of you in this room and in the chat Zoom. So 4 things to remember. First, to join our membership, you can see our link. You can ask Sonia and Alex out. We're very lucky to have 2 of the founders here. Very weird to see them. They're very busy. And please subscribe our YouTube. And also remember to sign up for our next talk. Last but not least, you can join more of our events. We organize hiking on and off. So if you have time, feel free to join. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for